All right. Mike here, Sky Include. I know it's been lots of videos. Thanks, Oscar, and all the support on the comments. I try my best to keep up with comments. I'm not going to say we got a million fans, anyways, here at Sky Include, but we're making these regular videos. So, this video is a follow up to one of the longer comments from Tulip here on my unstoppable.coin yesterday. And he's asking about what if Sky Include or Namebase stop supporting .mastermind domain. And it seems like I was going back and forth. I can't tell his initiative if he's like trying to poke holes or what, but I was genuinely replying. You can read it here. I'm also going to put it in the show notes. But it basically inspired me to make a dedicated video, which is today's video right here. And then, yeah, he's talking about browsers and UD and HNS. It's legitimate questions. I encourage critical questions. And we're making a blog post right now at skyinclude.com/integrations in full text. I write these up in full text. It's developing as I go, and literally we're making the blog post as I record this. Thanks, Manly. You're the man. And it's great to everyone here, our team. So, I don't like reading, but I need it as an outline to try to be as structured as I can. And full disclosure, I'm not a blockchain developer. I'm not a developer. I wish I was. My son's 8. Almost 9, maybe he'll be a developer. I respect developers. I'm a marketer, content creator, making this little show to try to help you all stay as educated. So this is kind of my overview and my understanding, and we can learn this together. And if there's enough interest about this, I can try to find somebody in our community to help me answer some of these questions. I'm sure they could. So just that full disclosure. But I've been going down a rabbit hole for over 2 years now, trying to study all these different namespaces and Web3 solutions. Another key point, like I'm pointing out with this question from Tulip, a lot of people, it's true, a lot of people confuse Handshake and Namebase. Namebase is the by far biggest custodian of Handshake names and coin. Um, that was started around about the same, I think, at the same time Handshake came out, as a kind of like a Coinbase is to Bitcoin, Namebase is to Handshake. So I know there's this confusion. A lot of people get confused because it is the majority of Handshake, which I like Namebase. I support them. I appreciate Namecheap stepping in too and everything. But you don't have to use Namebase. I think a lot of people don't understand that. And we support decentralization. We've done so many videos here about Bob Wallet. I don't know how to do HSD CLI, I'm sorry, but you can also do that. And there's other wallets. MonaPay is a wallet we've supported a team member to make. So, but Unstoppable equals Unstoppable Domains Inc. In my opinion, there's a one-to-one relationship, whereas Handshake equals a protocol, and there's users on the protocol, right? I was thinking about drawing this up. But you understand the difference of a protocol and a like a private company. So of course maybe people could pick on Namebase and say it's like a huge part of Handshake, but it's not only Namebase. I just want to say that. So that's my point. So like Tulip says, what if Sky Include? We have our own registrar. Excuse me. We had a whole series about it. Account.skyinclude. We've sold a few. It's a centralized solution. It's traditional Web 2. Actually, we don't have Mastermind on here anymore, but we sold, like, some of our fans bought like good.evening, and he's using that in HNS chat. It's really cool to see. We're still paying for this, and we still need some work on it, as you can see. But Varo Domains is where we sell .mastermind. I believe we made a video about this. Again, I'm showing probably too much information, but I'm trying to keep it real here. Eskimo Software or Jordan, shout out to him. I mean, he's making so many things, and that's what I like about Handshake. I don't see this in other solutions. I kind of see it in ENS a little bit. I don't notice it too much in Unstoppable. I mean, I see people buying them as NFTs and making art and collections and things like that, but I mean, I don't see people building as decentralized as I see here. Varo.domain, shout out. You can buy a .mastermind. Buy other ones there. He made this on his own, totally on his own, and he gets the money and he pays percentage of it to the TLD owner. Okay, this is getting ahead of myself. Also, So that's just one key point. And I think people were picking on Gateway for going bankrupt or disappearing. I really feel horrible about that. I feel horrible. I bought names there. I bought dot wallets. I even other ones. I bought dot C's before in dot wallet. I mean, right now mine are I can't access mine. So some people are critical about me promoting dot wallet. I believe most customers are patient. I've talked to them as well, and I'm patient. But we knew what, at least I believe people knew what they were buying was a centralized domain on like a Web 2 type solution. Web 3 is blockchain, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, so but he's talking about the integrations. So the integration support of Handshake, which is a good point. Browser integration. So we're gonna go through this. We're gonna go through this. It's gonna be another long one. I'm sorry. I'm motivated, but I this is yellow because we're just adding this in now. But Brendan, I have huge respect for. Pioneer of the internet. Co-founder, CEO of Brave. I mean, some of you see me in Twitter, maybe going, he's very active on Twitter. He replies to almost everyone that's polite to him. Please be polite to him. He is a very respected person. I respect his experience and contributions to the internet. But there's some back and forth I was reading. I didn't get involved. I'm trying to not jump in, but they're kind of going back and forth. This looks like some developer in the Unstoppable network talking about how they can still work on Brave even though they stopped supporting it. Yeah, I'd expect UD to pin me for. Honestly, I don't understand. So I'm going to link to this. Did the pin get rugged? Something about IPFS and pins. And this developer is saying that it can still work even though they stopped supporting it. Unstoppable Domains Inc. This is a long one. But DNS is not used on Unstoppable Web. They invented on-chain protocols CNS and ZNS. This is very, very fascinating discussion here. And actually, a lot of these blockchain domains don't really seem to care about being normal domains. Pins are stable on IPFS. Again, I just started noticed 4 hours ago. I wrote this. I write these blogs up as text first, and then I record them, as you maybe noticed. So I didn't have time to digest all of this. So this is very fascinating, and you can probably learn a lot. But what Brendan says is buyers were not told this. In the announcement that we read yesterday into this video, they weren't saying you can still use this with some other way. The buyers were not told that they could still use this Pinata IPFS hosting on their own node. So it's true. I mean, maybe it was a miscommunication to the business guys and the developer guys at Unstoppable. And then here I have to say this. Just a few hours ago, Brendan was lots of tweets, very active, like I said. But he says, I was thinking Handshake, which does the DNS, without a DNS register for .coin, there's an open race. ICANN laying claim to .coin meant UD either had to DNS register to subdomains it had sold already or stopped supporting them. I think Handshake has the winning design. So you can see, Django in our community seems like it's true. We're going to talk about this in integrations, but there's blockchain integrations and smart contract integrations, and there's like DNS integrations. But it seems like most of these Web3 solutions are using blockchain and IPFS and different kind of like ways. And again, I said it's a little bit over my head. Maybe you can say, why am I doing this video? But I'm going to try my best to give you my knowledge. And if we get enough interest in this video, we can invite people from anywhere that wants to help educate us. But I think the first point about integrations is integrating what to what. Usually it's data to a client, right? Like a database or a blockchain. Then some user, client, browser, wallet, OpenSea, MetaMask, Brave, Opera wants to access this data that's being called, right? So, smart contracts resolvers, databases, APIs, which we've talked about. APIs is basically means they don't have the full database. They're accessing somebody else's data or using this as an easy way to get data. And then clients, of course, are browsers and wallets. So, again, I'm reading here. But the main point here, if you understand, is I think there's going to be two types of integrations I'm going to talk about. I will talk about two different kinds of integrations today. And this is going to be probably a long video. Again, I'm investing a lot in this, and I get 100 views, so I'm just doing this for whoever wants to watch. But there's wallet addresses, which is again the focus of these Web3 domains. I've talked about this when I've spoken about Web3 domains a few times here in Thailand, and there's browser clients, and maybe we can call it DNS. Maybe we call it DNS. And this is what turns words on a blockchain or NFT words, right, into functioning utility domains, right? Utility. Handshake is mostly focused on making them websites. We've talked about this with, Beacon browser. There's various plugins. It's mostly the Handshake's not really focused on wallets and payments and identity. So it's two different ways, right? Whereas ENS, Unstoppable, other Web3 domains are focusing on domains as usernames, logins, payment addresses, right? So the question 2, is it on Ethereum, right? Or Polygon, Matic? Which smart contract for which wallet, right? So Handshake, another thing I like, again, I like it, is you can go across chain. I think it's HIP-005. Allows you to take a TLD to make SLDs on other chains. Ethereum, Matic. We talked to Loomweb. Again, I'm excited for his developments. He's doing other blockchains. So that's what I like, where these others are just all on Ethereum or maybe get cheaper fees on Polygon. But the way it works is you have smart contracts, okay? Smart contracts is what Ethereum is known for. Ethereum is smart contracts. It's like supercomputer. Bitcoin doesn't have smart contracts. There's layer 2s, and even my friends are working on some things like that. We've talked about it. And usually there's a link to the smart contract, but I couldn't find it in the Unstoppable OpenSea. So usually see view on Etherscan. So you can click this and it will open up the smart contract on etherscan.io/address and then smart contract address. So this is the address of this smart contract that tells people that access this data who's the owner, what happened 3 hours. You can see all the different minting, transfers, claims. You can do these. You don't even need OpenSea and things like that. You can do this right on Etherscan. We've put this in some tutorials. So I just want to make this clear. This is kind of the integration. So this is the contract for Impervious. Unstoppable has a contract, right? And then that address is what's used to integrate for wallets and payments, things like this. Let me make sure I go back to my notes. I did spend a lot of time on this. So from what I can understand with HIP-005, which is the Handshake Improvement Protocol 5, which was bridging Handshake to other blockchains and allowing that to come back to Handshake for resolving, I know 3 smart contracts. And they're all by Impervious as of now, but I believe Namecheap is working on something amazing. I know there's really, really talented developers that are there that are from the community. Thank you for supporting these amazing developers and giving them job opportunities and income, and I'm really happy for that. So I believe there's going to be more, and I will talk about them as they come. But there's 3 smart contracts on Ethereum right now for domains that are made by, they're forked of ENS domains. Badass.domains, which is the first one, like a year and a half ago, March 2021, I believe. Forever.domains, which are lifetime, no renewal fees, just like Unstoppable, which are .forever only. And then the more Impervious.domains, which has kind of been the one more active because it's a platform. You as a Handshake TLD owner can stake or submit or put your domain in the Impervious smart contract. We've got videos about this at skyinclude.com/impervious. So please, I don't want to repeat myself. So it gives it a more of a platform opportunity where badass.domains and foreverdomains.io are only for those TLDs. This allows any TLD owner in Handshake to submit. So let's go back to my notes. I'm sorry, I'm trying my best here. So each of these smart contracts, the main point of bringing this up is Unstoppable has one smart contractor. It's like 1-to-1, right? And Handshake is decentralized, in my opinion. Of course, people talk about mostly name-based, but look at Impervious is growing. There's more and more TLDs in there. You can see extensions. There's 60 as of OpenSea. And .records is blown to things 364 on records, 223 on WWWF. Our .omen is only still 31. You can support us. We get 80% of what you pay from the registration, not on a secondary. Anyway. So the point is, these have to be integrated to like MetaMask or integrated OpenSea or all those integrations Unstoppable talks about or ENS Domains talks about is their one-to-one relationship of theirs to that service. Okay? So Mark Smith, our buddy Mark Smith, it's great to see you active here again. Um, so he's saying we need as few contracts on each chain as possible or will hinder adoption. Just like I'm saying, if there's going to be like 50 Ethereum smart contracts for each TLD, the more TLDs on Impervious, the more likely integrations will be. That's what I'm saying. So for the dot forever and the dot badass, those have to be integrated. Maybe separately than the Impervious, but any of these domains are integrated to MetaMask or integrated to OpenSea or whatever these other transfer on various exchanges. Instead of typing in the wallet address, you want to use a payment address. Um, you need to get that integration. Let me go back to my notes. I'm trying to have this all ready. So shout out Mark. So like an example, it was actually August 8th, 2022. A community member, I think he has a TLD staked, Markel. He posted on the MetaMask forum to say, he's trying to get MetaMask's attention. Give an example. How I don't understand honestly what he meant there, but notice .eth. Honestly, I think they're really. We feel like they didn't really want to fully consider this. I don't know why, but there was a lot of support, and then I think they closed it because they said it felt like it was support not towards promoting projects are being discussed. So within a month, this person closed it. But again, if this integration was made, which I hope it will, then it wouldn't be any smart contract in the of a Handshake TLD on using HIP5. I know I'm maybe being technical. Try and make this simple, but that would be for impervious domains. So you would have to buy an impervious domain, right? Either mint it, just like ENS domains are unstoppable, and then or buy on a secondary like in OpenSea, right? And then you could use this quantum.likey as your payment address in MetaMask, so somebody can send you crypto. That's basically how it works. They would get this smart contract address, right? And they would then map this activity, and they would take all this data so that when there was something put in there in MetaMask, right? I have it here. All the phrases when I'm doing screen recording. So I'm hoping I'm making sense, and I'm maybe missing some parts and maybe oversimplifying this, but they're basically whitelisting this or adding this data to their systems to then pull that data and use that to give data back. I'm not logged in. To give data back. Okay? I'll talk about rug pulling later. The same integration would need to be done for Impervious Smart OpenSea. So like I just said, they'd have to basically create all these integrations. And maybe, here's the business part. Maybe MetaMask wants money, right? I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying they're evil, maybe they're not going to charge anything. But these integrations are business deals, right? Business development. We're talking about helping a Sky Include to maybe Impervious. We're talking to build these relationships, but somebody's got to maybe talk to the business development people at MetaMask and say, hey, can you connect us? Maybe they're saying, no, we only like ETH domains. We only like ENS domains. Or maybe we have an exclusive with them. Or maybe you got to pay us $1 million. Or maybe they say, you got to do application fee and you got to wait 3 months. And then you got to talk to our phone calls with our team. And then you got to do an audit. Or we don't know. I don't know. I haven't really honestly tried, to be honest. But it's a business deal, right? I know a lot of you are developers and like say, oh, why can't they all just integrate us for free? Why do they need dirty money? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying it's bad to need money, right? And I'm not picking on MetaMask at all. I'm just using this as an example. But it's business, right? So maybe they want money or need money. Or maybe they want more users, more use cases, more people actually using it, right? I'm going to close some of this. My computer's... I'll keep some open. Okay, so does this make sense? So maybe there's NDA. I've been involved with, I've kind of overheard, and some have been involved, been on some phone calls with different browsers and integrations. Honestly, in the Handshake community, I'm not, I can't say so much. I mean, Johnny Woo says that I have a big mouth, blah blah blah. But I feel like I wish I could be more transparent about some of these integrations. But normally, these companies want non-disclosures, and they don't want to disclose publicly their terms of their integrations, whether as browsers or MetaMask. Usually, I'm finding they don't want to have them disclosed publicly. So does that make sense? So like maybe OpenSea, you need to talk to their team, get the whitelist, get the API, so you can transfer with OpenSea, right? Just like .eth, you could do then these other .tld's on Handshake using that. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. That's kind of like wallets and payments and transfers and blockchains and smart contracts, right? Now the other one is the browsers, which honestly I've been more interested in, and I think more in Handshake are interested in than that. And why is that? Because I think a lot of the Handshake communities like Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is more about privacy, and we've heard like Matt Zipkin say in some of his talks, he doesn't want everyone in the world to be able to look up his name and see how much money he has and what assets he owns. He doesn't want that transparency. I think Bitcoiners are more private than Ethereum people. Um, and that's kind of how Handshake was built. So I think Handshake is more meant for normal domains than wallet addresses. Although if you want to go to wallet address, maybe go to impervious domains, or maybe what Namecheap's coming out. Maybe I can make something. Maybe you can make something. Right? That's the cool thing that I like about it. So back to browsers, collisions, the dot coin, and then this and that, and the lawsuit with dot wallets. Um, so basically, what's happening is the burden of the collision goes to the client. When I said client, that's the wallet. The client's the browser. Basically the user typing into a client to then see some information back, right? What domain opens when I put this domain, like scott.wallet? Am I opening the handshake.wallet, or I'm opening unstoppable.wallet, right? The same with the .coin. There's the Emirus, and then there's unstoppable, which a lot of us think they did that not because of respecting .coin. Emirus, they think they're for the lawsuit with .wallet on Handshake was the reason they did that. Anyway, let's keep going. So there's two ways browsers can handle this. They can put a setting. I've seen it within Brave. Brave looks like they're just letting the user decide. Do they want to resolve ENS? Do they want to resolve Unstoppable? Do they want to Handshake? Which one's first? ICANN? Which one do you want to see first? It's just a setting in the browser, and the user, like you download. Obviously, Chrome's going to be the last to do this, but Brave's more open. You download the browser, it has a default setting, or maybe when you type something in, it says, do you want to open Handshake or Ethereum or Unstoppable? You click your settings, right? It's a setting in the software. You choose what you want to open as a user. I believe that's the right way to do it. The other way, actually, I've been involved in phone calls. The browser doesn't have a setting. They don't want the user, don't either want to or don't want to make this. It's obviously more programming and user interface and design, because they got to then have settings, and they got to have like options and menus. So some of them just say, no, we're just gonna treat. I don't know how they choose, but they choose, right? But it's actually the client. A lot of people say it's ICANN's job, but it's the client that decide. The client being the browser or the system that you're using, right? Like Beacon browser is not going to open unstoppable domains. Beacon browser is going to open Handshake domains. I don't think they'll have an option for you to open unstoppable in Beacon. I don't think, right? I mean, they made it, they programmed it. You that's their terms. You use it. That's the setting. The unstoppable can make their. I think they actually had it. I remember when there was friendlier days. I saw one of their browsers they had made, like a fork of Chrome. I think I saw something. But you can make your own browser and you can have your own settings, right? That's what Impervious did. They made the Beacon browser. But it's all about deal making, Handshake, not Handshake HNS, but business handshakes, deals, all that jazz, exclusivity, first to market, which one should, blah, 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 all this kind of deals, which I know developers and, people are sick of, but it's reality. I think this is one of my longer ones, but I hope this is helpful. So rug pulling, turning off the integrations. This is my last main point. So I think that's where this tulip was saying, like, what if Impervious does the same thing, or what if Gateway disappeared? And I'm saying, well, Gateway, what we knew was a centralized company, I think Philadelphia or something, and using like Amazon hosting, right, AWS, so they get taken down, right? That's not a secret. I don't think it was meant to be a secret. Maybe some people didn't know or research or understand, but back to the rug pulling if on impervious domains, if there was integration with MetaMask and impervious as a company went bankrupt, I don't know if they even registered a company, but if the company went bankrupt, these names would still be on the blockchain and the contract would still be on the blockchain and the integration would still connect to this smart contract and pull the information that you could then change on your smart contract. Of course, maybe the portal might get off. You can make another portal, right? Again, maybe I am a little bit more technical than some people, but there can be different front ends that you could manage your impervious name or whichever name. But again, that's what I like about it. It's like just distributed. It's not one to one like Unstoppable. It's many to many. Like, yeah, forever domains might not be able to be used as a payment address, but maybe impervious domains are. And they're both Handshake name TLDs, but are on Ethereum, but using different smart contracts. Right? So I hope I'm making sense. You can read this. I don't want to read all of this, and I put a lot of text. This is a longer one in text format at skyinclude.com/integrations. It's too long to put as a YouTube comment too. So, and I'll have screenshots and links. But the main point is you can't just say Tulip. Sorry, I can't just say this can all happen to a Handshake name. And also, it'll always be on Handshake blockchain, a TLD. The SLDs on Ethereum are separate from the TLD on Handshake, right? The dot wallet is on Handshake, even if he stops using it, expires into 2 years. The heartbeat transaction is not sent. It goes to expiration. People bid on it, then they can move it. It's honestly better to have a TLD in Handshake. That's what I think Matt Zipkin says. SLDs are reliant on the TLD owner. Of course, there's burn addresses and things. And I've talked about this so many times. I've got almost 200 videos now, so I can't explain everything in one video. But the reason I like this is it's complex. It's dynamic. It's not one-to-one. You can make your own smart contract. You can bridge Handshake to Ethereum with HIP5. You can make your own smart contract, or you can use Impervious, or you can go, etc. So also help get more integrations. You can, we can. Of course, they get annoyed when there's like all these people upvoting it and commenting. I guess it upset them and bothered the mods of this forum. So try to be polite. But we all can do this. That's another thing I like about Handshake. I don't want to say like when team can do this, when team do that, when team do this. It's not like there's a team. Of course, there's founders and developers, and there's companies, and there's Namecheap, and there's Impervious, and there's SkyInclude, and there's Agamin, and there's HeyTX, and there's Encirca supporting it, and there's Pork Buns supporting it. It's like, that's what I like about it. That's one of the reasons I picked it. It's not like I didn't know this stuff a long time ago. It's the same stuff. Just try to make it more clear. So I put all the text here. And, I think this maybe is already being posted. skyinclude.com/integrations. A little bit more technical, probably a little bit longer. Let me know if you like this style. I hope I help. But basically, I think there's smart contracts and there's like DNS or browsers. And I'm learning too. I'm literally learning as I make this. And I hope that doesn't make you upset. But you can start your own channel on YouTube too. See y'all later. Bye-bye.